All right, here we go. MbL playing today as John 2005. Not sure what the story is there. Playing against TheMax. So MbL versus TheMax. Both players playing as Mongols. We're going to see a game on Arabia, and let's go with Gray. Let's go with Gray versus Blue. Gray's easy to see on the mini map if you have the right patch. So no worries. Okay, early on in the Mongols game, we can look over the maps here, but the most important thing to find are those deer. Always nice to find a deer, and MbL likes to lame. We'll see if he can go forward and steal a boar. If you can steal a boar, it's incredibly important as well. Nice back deer patch for MbL. It's going to be a long push. He's going to have to try to sort of work his way past these wood lines if he wants to push those deer. Just a 3 deer patch on that side, and that's about it. The wild game gathering bonus for Mongols is huge, and MbL not really with a home run area. If he finds those deer before his mill, it's time to put a mill down, he can mill those deer, but I think he's probably going to have to mill the berries here. We'll see. Gold on the front for MbL actually has a couple of nice little shore fish ponds that he could mess around with if he were so inclined. Back area is somewhat closable. He's got some cliffs here to work with. In the later game, you could see him totally wall himself in here if he gets time to do so. MbL is inclined to walling in 1v1s. I've seen him do that pretty effectively many times. If he did that here, he probably could have safe gold and safe main stone as well. But we'll see. We'll see what he decides to do in this one. Mongols, obviously a civ that you don't get quite as much time with. Your opponent is going to potentially be able to go up on 19 vills if they have good deer. And that really means you can have scouts all up in your grill before you get a chance to wall. Okay, on the other side, we've got 3 vills going over to wood here for TheMax. He's going to have gold to the side of his TC. Both stone piles on the front. If you're thinking Mangadai, maybe you're not thinking about that for TheMax. Maybe for MbL, maybe not for TheMax. We'll see. A little bit of a cratered area, not a whole lot of structure here to wall himself with. Not really very great wood lines. Yeah, he's got a good backwood. Good sidewood and backwood. Wood lines aren't really going to allow him to wall himself in easily, but you know, nothing too terrible about this map. At least he's got somewhat decent resources to take in the early game. So I think we're going to see a nice 1v1 here. I don't see a deer patch on the blue side of the map. Let's see. Yeah, a couple deer actually out in the front. Easily pushed. No obstacles here. TheMax here should really have an opportunity to maybe get a little early advantage over MbL. If he can push those deer in, if he wants to do something a little more aggressive in the feudal age, he can. Got to be careful though. He's got a villain 2 HP. No worries. No worries. TheMax has it all covered. TheMax is playing fantastically well lately. You can see his 1v1 record at 21-23. He's on the uptick. He's always been a great player, but that rating seems to be going up, at least by my approximation. Okay, what's going on? Nobody's milling just yet, or I should say TheMax isn't milling just yet. MbL will drop a mill on that top side. 3 vills on wood for MbL, 3 vills on wood for TheMax. So we're going to speed this one up a little bit. We're going to presume that these guys are going to throw down in the feudal age. Not looking like any drush action coming in this particular match. Okay, boars being lured in. Players not scouting too much around. At least MbL's starting to come forward. TheMax is mostly focused on his own side. We can see MbL scout just now making its way across the map. He's kind of given up on the idea of even bothering pushing those deer. Can't really blame him. Can't blame him. That's a long deer push with a lot of obstacles to work around. Might be a lot more efficient or intelligent for him to know what's going on the Max's side of the map here. So MbL playing here as John 2005, working his way around the TC, found those initial houses, will find the berries, will eventually work his way to the back wood lines, and he will know exactly where to strike. These wood lines in this gold pile, yeah, somewhat strikeable, I guess if that's even a word. Only difficulty is that 1 spearman in this area would be just absolutely killer to 3 or 4 scouts. Be hard to envision that number of scouts getting too much damage done. The berries on the back might be more raidable. We'll see how he decides to do this. I mean, you can always also go fast archers if you want. We'll see what these guys decide to do. 19 vills each at the moment. Looks like MbL will send 4 vills over to start taking lumber on the back here. He's got 2 back lumber camps. It seems to be a pretty good situation. Not taking any gold at the moment, and yeah, 19 up scouts seems like the order of the day for both players, but we shall see. We'll see as this one continues to roll through. We will see as this one continues to go through. Neither player really having safe enough gold to try to, just immediately go to archers or something like that. Always good to have some mobility. MbL knows about the gold. He knows about the front wood line. I bet he can even presume that this back wood line is going to be established. You know, when you know where the TC is, I would think you could assume that. MbL is usually very, very good at, knowing what another player would do. In this case, we will see TheMax just now coming forward. Both guys dropping up barracks as we speak. TheMax at the moment does not know where MbL is. He will slowly work his way toward the gray player. MbL will be walling himself in on that back corner. He's also going to send a villager up top to wall here as well. So he's going to be totally blocked in on that side. And you can see he's starting to build a makeshift wall using this cliff. He's going to use the buildings and the barracks there. And he will be totally closed in rather soon. MbL certainly has a good advantage map-wise as far as walling goes. Just a little bit of effort and he's going to be totally walled up. Okay, TheMax here and MbL both hit the... Ooh, that's interesting. What is going on with, I guess it must be scouting score. MbL's score is way, way, way ahead, but it's because he's done more scouting. He'll continue to wall himself up. We'll send out a spear early, not seeing a stable coming down for MbL, so it's not going to be fast scouts. One idle, but he'll get him to work here in just a second. So we're not going to see fast scouts from MbL. We're going to see him wall himself in, and that's going to be a real problem for TheMax. TheMax is still scouting around here. For the moment, he actually hasn't found his opponent, so he has no idea that MbL is walling himself in. That is really, really unfortunate. That could be the difference in the game right there. TheMax's scouting so far has not revealed what his opponent's up to, and if he does something silly like build a couple of scouts, he may never catch up. Yeah, he's going to build 3 scouts here. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's certainly going to slow his castle time a lot. On the other side of the map, MbL is just walling up. He's built several spears just in case his opponent goes into scouts, maybe bloodline badass scouts of some sort. At the moment, it is looking like a straight to castle sort of build for MbL. He's going to have 4 spearmen out. That's a lot of spears. He's actually going to start going forward with those, I guess. But yeah, TheMax here is absolutely going to get caught with his pants down. Little bit unfortunate. He did go out. He went out early enough to find his opponent after pushing the deer. He just didn't find home base, and that's really, really going to hurt him so badly. Coming forward now, it does actually look like he went with 3 scouts. Initially, he had 3 scouts queued up in addition to his original one. So at least he saved the resource of building that 3rd scout from the stable. He'll have his initial scout almost on full HP with 2 more, and that's not an end of the world type of investment. I think it's much less bad than if he had gone with 1 more. That little bit more food, as at least in my experience, is rather important. So it's good that he did not waste that money. TheMax here has had to tower up his front gold. Unfortunate for him, but that is probably one of the only ways that he could have protected it. So, you know, seems like a pretty justifiable move. Alright, so at the moment we are working our way through this one at 60% speed. We're watching MbL playing as John 2005 and TheMax going 1-on-1 on Arabia. Both these guys coming in above the 2k mark, and we're seeing MbL walling himself up and building quite a few spears. Does not look like TheMax is going to get in on that side. Max will have wheelbarrow a little sooner, but I think MbL will be up a lot sooner. Resources don't show it at the moment, but MbL here not having to spend a whole lot militarily. It's actually kind of interesting. MbL on 400 food. Gold is just starting to roll in. You know, TheMax is awfully close. This is really surprising to me. Considering the difference in having to build those scouts, TheMax is actually doing just fine. Doing just fine. He should have a decent castle time. At the moment, 400 food, 100 gold. We'll see. Starting to build up his buildings. Just heard the blacksmith come down on the corner. He's built a range and he's starting to build archers. The unfortunate thing, though, is that those archers are probably not going to get in. I'm feeling like MbL here, who is getting very close on food, certainly needs more gold. He will commit several villagers to the gold pile. Looks like 6 to me. In order to get to that 200 mark a little bit sooner. Wonder if we will see MbL transition over to this stone in a little bit and start grabbing some stone for Mangadite production. Looks like for now double range is coming down, and we will see the gray player click up to castle relatively soon. TheMax on the other side, though, is not far at all. He's gone double ranges himself. He's produced an archer or 2 early on, and he is going to continue to build up walls to basically block himself in. Needs a little bit of a cushion to keep that gold safe, but rather efficient play from TheMax. MbL built a few spears. I'm sure that slowed him down a bit. Still, this back corner is open for the blue player. Keep that in mind. Maybe MbL's couple of spears here was enough of an investment to slow him down a little bit. I thought he would beat the Max by a ton, but he's actually going to be dead on. 17 minutes and 2 seconds versus 17 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm so used to being wrong. It doesn't even bother me anymore. So we will see these guys slowly work their way up to the castle age. Both guys have built double ranges. We'll see if we'll see who's winning in archer production. At the moment, just a couple of archers queued up for MbL. The Max on the other side seems to probably be a bit out ahead. He's out ahead, but he's building skirms. Unfortunately, he is going to go skirms for a moment here. Not sure why. He has plenty of gold in the bank to keep up archer production. But at least for the moment, he's going into skirms. Maybe he's thinking about adding in a couple early knights to go along with his archers and skirms. I don't know. I don't know why he's stockpiling gold, but I guess we will find that out in just a moment. Fletching coming in for the Max. On the other side of the map, we will see the gray player MbL building out archers, double range archers. Obviously not going to have a whole lot of gold in the bank, spending it as fast as he can get it. Sending a few more vills over to gold, though, so he will continue to stockpile a bit. Can definitely support 2 ranges easily. Yeah, going to be interesting to see what the Max does here. I don't know if he thinks he's way behind or something, but he's building a ton of skirms. That will certainly counter MbL's archers, and it should give the Max a chance to maybe seize the momentum back. We'll see. We shall see. Okay, Castle Age in for both players. We will see Fletching immediately. We'll see Elite Skirm and Bodkin. Ooh, MbL a little bit late to Fletching, but it's all good. He's not going to engage anytime too terribly soon. 2 vills on stone here. They're going to grab a little bit of stone, 13 each. That will get the blue player here enough stone to build a TC. So no need to drop a mining camp if you're just trying to build a TC, and he will have 100 stone now in the bank, and he may immediately drop a TC. We shall see in a moment. No knight production for the blue player here. Still going with elite skirms and some cav archers. Interesting build. The elite skirms here is really surprising to me. I think he maybe overestimated what MbL might have for a military. MbL is going to stockpile some food and some wood and drop down 3 TCs and a siege workshop, and he's going to continue to defend himself behind his own walls. Crossbowmen coming in for MbL. He'll have about 10 of those in a moment, but the TCs and the siege workshop should be plenty to deal with these skirms. MbL should be okay to deal with this. We'll see. Blue player is going to make a push. He's going to use skirmishers to support his units while he tries to work his way into MbL's eco. MbL's secondary walling here, it will have the Max blocked out pretty strongly. A couple of vills coming out of this TC should garrison here in a moment, and that will really deter any sort of aggression or raiding from the blue player. So the Max is in, but he's not really in. He's just in a tiny bit. MbL's mangonel will pop out maybe in a moment. We'll see if he waits a second before popping it out because of those scouts. Could be an interesting moment for MbL to get a lot of bang for his buck. One good mangonel shot would be really beneficial for him. No, he's going to pop it out right in front of those scouts and then keep it near the TC. No worries. Okay, Blue Army, I would think, is going to have to get the heck out of Dodge. They're going to continue to work on damaging those houses. Looks like the Max here just maybe not sure exactly what he wants to do. Seems to be a little indecisive. Can't blame him. I don't know what he should do either. 3 TCs pumping for MbL though, and he'll be on 43 villagers here in just a moment. Scouts run in to snipe the mango. Maybe MbL needs a vill to repair this. Maybe not. Villagers will pop out and repair that mangonel. Arrow fire still coming in from the TC. MbL gets in a pretty damn good shot on the blue player. Mangonel is still alive. Second mangonel out for MbL. Oh boy, this is going badly for the Max. His entire army has pretty much been sacrificed, and he did not get anything done there. Tried to run in and snipe the mangonel with the scouts. MbL was there and ready to repair the mangonels, and lobbing in TC arrow fire basically cleaned up a small army from the Max for free. That was really great play. In the meantime, we've seen the gray player here get up by 6 villagers. He's in a really good position. The Max is now on to 2 TCs. If we look at his point of view, he's not taking any stone at the moment, so he will not be able to build a 3rd TC just yet. Blue player is mostly building what? Villagers coming forward here. Elite skirms coming forward. Not sure what his plan is. I'm going to drop a forward siege workshop on top of that hill and start to make a push. Forward Siege Workshop on top of the hill with 3 vills coming forward. So he must have something else in mind after that first Siege Workshop. He must be thinking about other buildings on the front. I suppose we will wait and see. But yeah, a couple Cav Archers from the blue player. He is now transitioning 5 vills over to stone. Maybe thinking about another TC. Maybe thinking about a castle. Cav Archer production continuing. It looks like 21 military, though, for MbL in defense. Lots of crossbows, a couple of mangonels here. He will not know about the Max's aggression just yet, but I think MbL should be able to deal with it, especially if he leaves this army back at home defending. If he goes forward, that army could get caught way out of position. He could get pushed on. But this is certainly enough to defend a little push from his opponent. Looks like for now, just patrolling around on the front. MbL will add in a monk, maybe grab a relic or two, and deter some knights from coming forward. Siege Workshops coming down on the front for the blue player. And let's see, TheMax is going to go for mangonel production himself. So it's not going to be rams, it's going to be mangoes. Seems to make sense since he knows about a few mangonels here in defense. MbL rolling forward, just now getting Bodkin Arrow. He will be walking toward the blue eco, and he's actually going to find TheMax just as TheMax's army rolls out. Not going to be so bueno here for the blue player, who's going to lose a couple vills on the front. MbL will grab 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 5 villagers there on the front. He's going to be up by 18. And he, for the moment, might cause TheMax to come back home. We'll have to see. Double mangonels can certainly put a lot of pressure on that TC. Okay, mangoes popping out for the blue player, TheMax. He, at the moment, just has 1 and is slowly but surely getting up the wood production to get more out there. He will slowly roam forward and eventually put some pressure on, but in the meantime, there is a lot of pressure coming in to the base of TheMax. Max is down by 20 vills now, and he does have a TC that's under fire. Obviously, he cannot lose that TC. He's trying to readjust his production at the moment. He's going to add in a few knights. Those should be able to sneak in. The elite skirms here are doing a great job to pick down MbL, who's focusing their fire on the mining camp. Oh boy. That's really unfortunate for MbL. He's going to lose about a half dozen crossbows for free, but he will lure those elite skirms in a bit closer and maybe shoot them down. So TheMax here going into elite skirms and siege relatively early is trying to catch up in this game, behind by 20 villagers. Just trying to do something useful. At the moment, he will add in, he'll have some Cav Archers ready to do some raiding. But for the moment, there's not a whole lot of area for them to poke and prod at. Now they're in. Now they're into the main eco. MbL might want to drop a building to, yep, he's going to drop a house on that corner to stop those Cav Archer from being able to run behind the TC. MbL, as always, ready to defend himself very quickly. Can't complain about that. Oh, here we go. Mango for mango trade. Not quite. Looks like the blue player will survive. No, he won't. MbL will trade 1 for 1, and that's really going to knock some of the wind out of TheMax's sails. So TheMax with a couple of Cav Archers forward. MbL defending pretty nicely. He's got a couple mangonels forward. He's stopped putting pressure on this TC. Not sure why. Maybe the mangonels in defense have deterred him. But at the rate this game is going, MbL is going to be just fine. He's 22 villagers ahead as we speak, and it's going to be really, really hard for TheMax to get back in it. TheMax just doesn't have anywhere to raid just yet. He actually can run. I don't know. I don't know if there's space there or not. Cav Archers can run in here and try to do some damage, but TC Arrow Fire probably going to deter them. Bloodlines +2/+1 for the blue player. MbL is still forward. He's just waiting with that army, maybe going to cut off any reinforcements. Okay, 5 monks on the front now for TheMax. Interestingly, grabbing a few relics and really well prepared for taking on some knights. MbL has not teched into knights too much that I've seen at the moment. Just +1 defense. He does have bloodlines, but of course, bloodlines is not just for knights. Let's see. Outpost trying to come down for the blue player. Gets denied. Just a few knights in defense for MbL. 22 military for TheMax. 25 for MbL. Where's his military? Coming forward with a stable and market. So maybe those monks will be well placed from TheMax relatively soon. MbL's army on the front just kind of chilling, man. They're just kind of waiting. Maybe they're waiting for this TC to come up. If he knew what we knew, I think that would look like a really good spot. Looks like Cav Archers will be pushed away for the time being. Blue player trying to lure MbL back to these monks. I don't think it's going to work, but let's see. Yep, MbL will get out of dodge. That one monk, that one knight that had bloodlines for MbL might have been a convert. Looks like some of his have 100, some have 120. I think he converted one of the Max's bloodline knights. So the Max with a few knights, a few cav archers, and a few monks, and a few mangonels trying to make a push here. Imperial Age on the way, bloodlines on the way for MbL, handcard on the way for MbL, denies the front TC from his opponent. The Max here is in a lot of trouble. He's behind by 23 vills. He's going to be behind by an entire age in a moment. And it will be really tough for him to get back in it. Now, though, is the time to strike. If this army on the front can get something done in the next couple minutes, it could, absolutely could, slow MbL down enough to give the Max a chance to win this one. You can see the amount of resource in the bank right now for the gray player here. John is Mr. MbL himself. He's grabbing husbandry. Is he adding in more stables? Looks like university and another TC on the front. A couple of stables on the front. It's going to be a 5 TC build for MbL. MbL will be on 5 TCs. He has his gold piles somewhat safely protected with town centers. And for the moment, if he can survive this raiding, maybe a couple more minutes, he should be in absolutely top form to win this game. We shall see. Okay, knights coming out, couple crossbows in defense for the gray player. At the moment, triple mangoes on the front. They might get this TC down. That is the Imperial TC. Unfortunately, 94-95%. Very, very unfortunate. Just maybe a minute sooner with those 3 mangonels, and they might have gotten the job done. That would have been a really amazing, fortunate turn of events for the blue player. But unfortunately, the Max is going to be up against an Imperial-aged opponent who is building out Cavalier as we speak. Chain barding on the way. MbL will go Arb as well, which is kind of surprising. MbL will go Arb and into Cavalier at the same time, so he's going to be pretty well-rounded to defend this. MbL sneaks in the back here and gets a couple of good shots in. Able to kill a monk full free. Will he get a mangonel as well? I think he will. Really nice from MbL. A mangonel and a monk for a mangonel when you're defending like this is huge. He's just slowly but surely putting more and more chinks in the armor of the Max. The Max here sees the writing on the wall. He sees his opponent dropping a TC on the front, I suppose. Arb's camping out on the hill. MbL absorbing a little bit of aggression from the Max, both in the Feudal Age and in the Castle Age. Had a very wallable map, took advantage of it completely. Walled himself in, defended very nicely, did some secondary walling at one point in the game to build a second group of walls to keep his opponent out. And in the end, the Max, maybe just a little bit unfortunate. His early scouting couldn't find MbL, and he made a couple of maybe not so great investments. If he knew MbL was going quickly to castle and not building much in the Feudal Age, I think the Max could have taken a little bit better advantage of him. But hey man, that's the game. You can't always find your opponent, and sometimes your opponent has a pretty wallable map. In this case, we'll see MbL, aka John 2005, get the win. And we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Killer B. Peace.